There's a delicate balance between forgiveness and knowing when to say, enough is enough. Setting boundaries isn't about being, it's about self-respect. Navigating the complexities of human relationships requires us to honor our worth while protecting our well-being. In a perfect world, we'd forgive and move forward effortlessly. But reality teaches us that some wounds cut too deep, making repair nearly impossible without risking further pain. That's why today, we'll explore why setting firm boundaries is essential for both our mental and physical health. Stoicism, a philosophy rooted in virtue, wisdom, and rational thinking, offers a powerful lens through which to view these challenges. It teaches us to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. While it's tempting to grant second chances out of hope or sentiment, Stoicism reminds us to make decisions based on reality, not wishful thinking. Recognizing repeated patterns of harmful behavior helps us determine whether reopening the door is truly in our best interest. To help with this, we'll break down 8 key principles to consider before letting someone who's hurt us back into our lives. As we embark on this journey of self-discovery and resilience, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single insight. Every moment of this exploration holds a key to unlocking your inner Stoic strength. Some people haven't earned a second chance. 1. Real change takes time. When we talk about change, especially the kind that transforms lives, there's a common myth that it happens in an instant, like flipping a switch. But the reality, as echoed by philosophers and psychologists throughout history, is quite the opposite. Lasting change is a slow, often difficult journey. It's not just about wanting to be different, it's about committing to growth even when progress seems invisible. Think about it. When we consider giving someone another chance after they've hurt us, we're often guided by hope that they've changed. But as both ancient Stoicism and modern psychology suggest, this is a decision that requires careful thought. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, put it best: "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." His words highlight a crucial truth. Change isn't something that just happens. It's something we actively build through deliberate choices. And because meaningful transformation takes time, we must be mindful of who we trust again and when. The Greek philosopher Aristotle saw virtue as a habit, something that must be practiced consistently. This idea is especially relevant when deciding whether to give someone a second chance. Have they shown a real, steady effort to improve, or are they just making empty promises? And let's be honest, sometimes even the best intentions aren't enough. Real growth often requires external support, whether from a mentor, therapist, or community. Acknowledging this doesn't discount their efforts. It simply recognizes how complex and layered personal transformation can be. Change, especially when it comes to breaking old habits or harmful patterns, is rarely fast or easy. It happens in the little choices we make every day, the ones that eventually shape who we become. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "No great thing is created suddenly." So when it comes to personal growth and relationships, patience, awareness, and a clear perspective are essential. 2. Stay true to your values. When someone has broken our trust, deciding whether to let them back into our lives can feel like standing at a crossroads. One path might lead to reconciliation, but at what cost? If giving them a second chance means betraying our core values, then we're not just losing a part of ourselves, we're compromising the very foundation of who we are. Stoicism teaches us to look inward for strength, urging us to ask, does this decision align with who I am and what I stand for? It sounds simple, but in practice, it's anything but. Living by our principles requires vigilance. It means constantly checking our actions against our values and having the courage to make difficult choices. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, left us with a simple but powerful guide. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Applying this to our daily lives, including the tough decisions about relationships, can bring clarity. But it also demands honesty and bravery, which can be intimidating. Giving someone another chance should never mean bending our values until they break. This is where Stoicism serves as a steady anchor, reminding us that integrity is non-negotiable. Every choice we make reflects who we are, and once we start making exceptions for others, we set a dangerous precedent. That said, staying true to our principles doesn't mean being rigid or unforgiving. Stoicism doesn't promote a life devoid of compassion. Instead, it encourages balance, standing firm in our values while also understanding human imperfections. As Epictetus wisely put it, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. 3. Genuine regret is essential. The Stoics had deep insights into human nature. They didn't see forgiveness as just an emotional act. It was a rational decision based on recognizing true remorse. Seneca once said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. But this kindness isn't blind. It should be based on whether the person truly understands their mistakes, not just through words, but through consistent actions that prove they are committed to change." Real regret goes beyond a simple, "I'm sorry." It means grasping the weight of one's actions, deeply feeling the harm caused, and actively working to ensure it doesn't happen again. This kind of remorse is unmistakable. You can sense its sincerity. And when it's real, it provides a solid foundation for rebuilding trust. Why is genuine regret so important in the process of forgiveness? Think of it this way. If someone truly feels remorse, they will take responsibility for their actions and strive to make amends. Without this, any attempt at reconciliation is just a hollow gesture. Trust isn't rebuilt with words, it's rebuilt with actions. Their actions reveal a level of self-awareness and empathy, signaling that their desire for forgiveness isn't merely to alleviate their own guilt or regain our approval, but because they truly comprehend the hurt they've caused and are ready to take responsibility. This kind of remorse creates an opportunity for trust to be rebuilt, something fragile yet essential in any relationship. Once trust is broken, mending it is a difficult task, and without sincere regret, that challenge becomes even greater. In a world that often equates forgiveness with weakness, it's important to realize that forgiving is an act of strength. It demonstrates our ability to show empathy and understanding, but it's also a choice rooted in reality, the reality of whether the other person is genuinely willing to recognize their faults and work toward change. 4. Forgiveness doesn't always equate to reconciliation. There's a fundamental truth that often gets muddled in the midst of our emotions, particularly when we're hurt. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing, although the lines between them are often blurred. Forgiveness is, at its core, a gift you give to yourself. It's about releasing the bitterness and anger that weigh heavily on your heart and choosing peace over perpetual turmoil. But here's the interesting part. Letting go of resentment doesn't automatically mean you must welcome someone back into your life. That's where reconciliation comes into play, and it's an entirely different matter. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the importance of wisdom and discernment, two qualities that are essential when considering reconciliation. Forgiveness doesn't require us to forget. It's about healing the wounds within us, whereas reconciliation involves evaluating whether it's wise or healthy to rebuild a relationship with someone else. Sometimes it's possible. Sometimes the foundation is too cracked and trust too eroded. Forgiveness frees us from the chains of bitterness, but reconciliation requires a careful, honest assessment. It forces us to ask tough questions. Can trust be restored? Have both people grown and learned from the experience? Is there a mutual desire to heal the relationship, grounded in respect and understanding rather than fear or dependence? Forgiveness is a solitary journey toward peace, while reconciliation is a path two people walk together, but only when it leads to a healthier, more respectful connection. Sometimes the most courageous act of love for both ourselves and the other person is to forgive, but not to reconcile. It's about wishing someone well, hoping for their growth and happiness, without needing them back in your life. 5. Chronic problems don't just vanish. Throughout life, we often encounter recurring problems, especially in relationships, where harmful behaviors appear not once, but as part of a persistent pattern. The Stoics remind us of a difficult yet essential truth. Chronic issues don't disappear on their own. They're like shadows that follow us unless we confront them directly. Acknowledging that recurring problems may resurface doesn't mean we have to accept endless suffering. On the contrary, it empowers us to make informed decisions about our boundaries and our involvement with those who have caused us harm before. Seneca offers a valuable piece of advice: associate with people who are likely to improve you. It's a gentle reminder to reevaluate the company we keep, encouraging us to surround ourselves with individuals who contribute positively to our lives, rather than dragging us back into cycles of pain. This principle applies not just to personal relationships, but also in various aspects of life where we face recurring challenges. It's about recognizing patterns, understanding their roots, and taking proactive steps to address them. The Stoics teach us not just to react to life's difficulties, but to anticipate, prepare, and, when possible, avoid them. Recognizing the potential for recurring issues isn't about closing our hearts or abandoning people. It's about using Stoic wisdom to protect our peace and prioritize growth. It's about making tough yet necessary decisions that our future selves will thank us for. And importantly, it's about remembering that while we can offer support, we can't do someone else's work for them. Their journey of change, like ours, is their responsibility. 6. How to say no in a world of endless yes. In a world that often pushes us to say yes to everything, drawing a firm line and saying no can feel like an act of defiance. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that saying no isn't rebellion. It's an essential practice of self-respect and protecting our peace. But why is saying no sometimes necessary? Every time we say yes to something that oversteps our boundaries, demands too much of us, or clashes with our core values, we're essentially saying no to ourselves. We're denying our peace, our well-being, and our right to honor our limits. Seneca eloquently reminds us, if you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. True escape begins with the ability to say no, set boundaries, and prioritize our own well-being over the desire to please others or meet external expectations. Saying no is not merely about preventing further harm, it's about actively respecting ourselves. It's about acknowledging that our mental, emotional, and physical health are precious and need safeguarding. We can't pour from an empty cup. Our capacity to love, to give, and to be present for others begins with how we treat ourselves. In a world where saying yes seems to be the default, saying no might feel like an act of rebellion. However, the ability to say no is crucial for preserving our peace and well-being. It begins with clarity about our values, our limits, and our priorities. It requires honesty with ourselves and others, recognizing what we can do and what we simply cannot. It means knowing what we're willing to accept and what we must refuse in order to stay true to ourselves. The Stoics remind us that our first allegiance is to our own virtue and peace of mind. This doesn't mean we become selfish or indifferent to the needs of others. Instead, it encourages us to make decisions with wisdom, discernment, and deep respect for ourselves and the life we wish to lead. 7. Characteristics are deeply rooted. The Stoics, with their keen insights into human nature, teach us the importance of accepting things we cannot change while diligently working on the things we can. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." Understanding that core personality traits are deeply rooted helps temper our expectations, both of personal transformation and of change in others. Think of it like gardening. We can water, fertilize, and nurture a plant, encouraging it to grow in its own unique way. But expecting an oak tree to turn into a pine is futile and will only lead to disappointment. This analogy brings us closer to the Stoic ideal of working with our nature, not against it. Epictetus offers a thought-provoking insight. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. Applied to personality traits, this perspective urges us to shift our focus from trying to force dramatic changes in ourselves or others to fostering growth and development that aligns with our inherent nature. It's about recognizing the difference between encouraging positive habits and skills and having unrealistic expectations of altering someone's core essence. Expecting sudden transformation, especially without sincere effort, is a recipe for disappointment. Seneca also sheds light on this wisdom. If you really want to change your life, you must first be willing to change your mind. Real change begins with a shift in mindset, with a commitment to personal growth and an acceptance of the slow, often challenging process that comes with it. 8. Learn lessons from the past. You've probably heard the saying, history often repeats itself, and it resonates deeply, especially when we're at a crossroads considering whether to give someone a second chance. This moment is crucial, inviting us to pause, reflect, and learn from the past. The Stoics teach us that our experiences and the patterns we observe in ourselves and others are not just random events. They are lessons that can guide our future choices. Marcus Aurelius beautifully encapsulated this idea. Time is a sort of river of passing events, and strong is its current. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by, and another takes its place, and this too will be swept away. This metaphor speaks to the transient nature of life's events. Yet within this flux, there are patterns and cycles. Before offering someone a second chance, it's crucial to examine the course of the river, looking back at past actions to identify patterns that have emerged over time. Have there been genuine efforts to change, or have promises been swept away like leaves on the water, only to be replaced by more unfulfilled promises? Trust, according to the Stoics, is not easily granted. It must be earned through consistent action, not just words. Seneca, with his profound wisdom, reminds us, life's like a play. It's not the length, but the excellence of the acting that matters. When it comes to second chances, it's the quality and consistency of one's actions that matter, not the eloquence of their promises or the intensity of their apologies. Trust is rebuilt through everyday actions, small, consistent deeds that show a genuine commitment to change. As we journey through Stoic philosophy and the art of living, we must remember that our goal isn't just to accumulate knowledge, but to transform our lives from within. The wisdom of the Stoics empowers us to take control of our destiny and navigate life's storms with courage, wisdom, and tranquility. It's a call to live deeply, to make deliberate choices, and to embrace the journey with all its twists and turns. Now, as we part ways for the moment, let what we've learned be your guiding light. You are the creator of your own destiny, the author of your story. In your hands lies the chisel and pen that can shape your reality and carve out a life filled with purpose, peace, and profound fulfillment. Remember, the most beautiful stories are those written with intention, sustained by resilience, and sung with the melody of inner strength. If this journey through Stoic philosophy has sparked a flame within you, if you're eager to dive deeper into the art of living and learning how to lead a more balanced and meaningful life, I invite you to explore the videos in our playlist. Each video is a chapter, and each lesson is a stepping stone on your path to becoming your most authentic self. Let's continue this journey together, learning, growing, and evolving. Because, in the end, life isn't just about overcoming challenges. It's about thriving in the midst of them. We aim to create a masterpiece from the canvas of our existence, embracing all its beauty and complexities. Watch the playlist, continue the journey, and remember that the power to live a life of wisdom, virtue, and joy lies within you.